Hello, everyone. This is Cody Lee of BlackCatBooks.org, author of I, the Dragon, Cruel and Beautiful, Rabbit Hole, King DL, Lauren Frey, Grim Clover, Internet Blood Sports, City of Steel, and the upcoming Jaw of the Dragon. I know it's been a long time coming. Like, it's legit Friday now, and the Nintendo Direct happened on Tuesday. But holy, I've been really, really busy. I've been having a lot of things going on. Honestly, I haven't been playing a lot of games. I legit have been spending all my free time like playing Splatoon 2. Playing Splatoon 3, excuse me. They are completely different games. I've been I've been spending whatever free time I do have playing Splatoon 3. I haven't been watching YouTube videos. I haven't been keeping up with like YouTube drama. I don't even know what like the general consensus is when it comes to how the direct was received. I've I've seen like some backlash, but it seems like typical Pretendo just complain about JRPG and now farming games. Like it really does feel like if it's not like a big major Nintendo IP, somebody is gonna bitch about it. And I don't know. I am getting really tired of seeing that. I've released a statement about that. For the record, I did not like the direct either. And like but I feel like a lot of people complaining about the director are doing so for the wrong reasons. So I thought like, okay, let's go to my default. Let's see what Demeech has to say about this. Let's see what Demeech has to say about this Nintendo Direct.
The next free
Wait a minute,
update
that's
for the
me.
Nintendo Switch Sports game will add golf.
I say that I like
This
Nintendo
free
Switch
update
Sports.
launches this
I
holiday.
like that game. I like that announcement. Nintendo Switch Sports looks great.
You are now watching.
Is he really taking what I said out of context? Like, did he even see my video? Like, okay, whatever.
Demeech.
Things you could have like weaponized to like prove your point. I am very, very surprised that no one has like pointed out the fact that like I have pretty openly said that I don't like the Nintendo, that I didn't like the Nintendo Direct. I thought that would be like a lot more like memed on in the community. But like, oh, hang on, am I recording? I should be. Yeah, I really gotta check that before I go live. Okay, okay, let's see what the nation's doing.
Demeech! Oh man, did you see that Nintendo Direct? That was one of the best directs I've ever seen. We had JRPGs, we had some farming simulators. Oh,
Lots of people really liked the JRPGs and farming simulators. I've seen a couple of people like Pro Jared and Peanut Butter Gamer come out and say this was actually a pretty solid direct for them because they're big, big fans of that kind of thing. I personally, not so much, but like again, this is a big problem I have with these kind of channels is that like they're going after people who legitimately enjoyed the direct. You know, who like saw a lot of things that they liked and saw the things that they were looking forward to, and then just said, yeah, fuck that. Yeah, if you like a JRPG, fuck you. That was an announcement that could have been made for Zelda. Like you like that farming sim, fuck you. We have Pikmin, which by the way is technically a farming game, but because you like raise the Pikmin and like you grow them, it's just like okay. That's been my little joke. But I don't know. Like this is why I have a problem with the Mish. This is why I have a problem with people like him and like people who like radically go after like these supposed Nintendo fanboys, which honestly don't even fucking exist. The fact that like I'm considered like the ultimate Nintendo fanboy and I didn't like the direct, I think that says a lot about like what Nintendo fans are actually like. You know, where like we are actually being very, very open to being critical of this kind of thing and talking like having like real conversations about this, but like we are often strawmanned as being like the sort of people who will like blindly accept anything. You know, like I did not like the Nintendo Direct, but I can see why some people might have.
and we had Mario Strikers. Oh yeah, we had Nintendo Switch Sports, and we had some Pikmin stuff. That was pretty
Wait, wait,
okay.
wait, wait, wait. JRPGs? You mean the entire direct?
I wouldn't say it was the entire direct.
The entire Direct. Like, is this motherfucker really gonna say there was nothing but JRPGs? That's just objectively wrong. Okay, there were plenty of other games shown.
Oh, I don't know. It's not every day you start off with Fire Emblem, and then you go into more JRPGs and more JRPGs. You know, I was actually thinking if I actually reacted to directs, take a shot every time JRPG is in a Nintendo Direct. And then I think at that rate, I'd
Yeah, a Japanese centric company has a lot of JRPGs. It's bizarre seeing. I brought this up before like several times. It's weird how we went from like the 90s where people were like bitching about N64 not having enough RPGs to like where we are now where people are like insisting we have too many. Like, are you serious? Because like JRPGs are obviously like super popular, not just in Japan, but like all around the world for being like what they are, right? There's really nothing else like them. And to say that like these games are like disappointing or they're not what you wanted to see, like first of all of these RPGs are completely different, right? Like they say like Fire Emblem is the same thing as I don't know, Front Mission. Like even though they're both like strategy RPGs, they both look completely different, right? Like you have genres and subgenres to put like everything under like the JRPG label is just laughable to me.
have or blood in my alcohol system. That's how many JRPGs there were. And that would be a very, very, very dangerous thing to do, considering just how many of them there were. Now, I know you might be thinking, Petey, why don't I sound angry? Because, oh man, there's so much to talk about. Now, where's TND?
You're just an you're an ungrateful, entitled needy.
Oh, shut up, I want TND, not you. Get out of here. You shill?
What what is with Demeech's gimmicks? Like I can't keep up with like his weird his weird style where he has like these little characters that are like rips of established Nintendo characters, like that's Squawks, but like he calls him Petey and like he presents him as like a massive Nintendo fanboy. It's weird. I suppose this is why it took so long for this video to come out because I would have done a reaction to this immediately if like it had come out immediately, but I chose to like play Donkey Kong Country instead.
Ugh,
Oh
good
man.
riddance. Something to do with the parrot, but nothing to do with the game. Oh man. So that Nintendo Direct was something, wasn't it?
Yeah, I delayed a run for it. Shouldn't
Yeah.
have done that.
Well, I got up earlier than usual for it, but at the same time, I mean, I would have watched it anyway. But oh man. So, with this Nintendo Direct, we waited since the legendary, or should I say legendary, February
Uh,
2022 Direct. And then we get this. And you know what? Let's just start off with the announcement that I was actually looking for.
One of the things these people aren't talking about is that like we actually did get an E3 Direct, the partner showcase, which actually was very well received. So like to say that we haven't gotten like a new announcement since like February is disingenuous because we've gotten update videos, we've gotten we've gotten new shadow releases, we've gotten like all sorts of things. Like to say that like they're they're not doing anything. Like Nintendo hasn't done anything all year is just objectively wrong. It's just not true.
Forward to the most, and we did get it, but what was actually revealed just made me laugh. So,
oh yeah, that was the funniest part. I mean, we got golf, guys, for Switch Sports, but wait, it's not coming out in the fall because they need a little bit more
how
time
much
to
time did they need? And if they needed the time, why did they release the game when it was clearly unfinished? It's not. No, I'll reiterate what I
uh,
said in a thread. Switch Sports isn't unfinished. It's just incomplete. It just is. It's a completely normal thing in a game development cycle to work on golf for nearly a year.
and then and then don't even get me started with Mario Strikers. They finally added a new battlefield.
uh,
Oh yeah, and they of course added Pauline and Diddy Kong. Not that they shouldn't have been in the base roster in the first place.
You know, I will give. I'll play devil's advocate here. I will say if the planet, or I was gonna say planetoid, planet, factually hit. I will say if it plays differently, then that could be something cool. But if it's like another shade of grass, I don't care. Although Pauline looks as excellent as ever, I was actually excited about that. And that's coming from a guy who does not like Mario Strikers Battle League in the slightest. So that's a hint right there that Pauline is a true one-up girl. But going going back to golf,
Oh my
I
god.
just can't get over the fact that first of all, golf is coming in the winter. The fact that that was
Who cares? They delay games all the time. Like who cares?
Yeah,
coming in the fall is just insane. Or it
yeah.
was coming in the fall. And I'm all for a delayed game is eventually good, but come on, Switch Sports was never good to begin with. Who is going to come back to the game in droves for golf in the winter?
Golf is like super popular. Like it was probably one of the more popular original Wii Sports. I got a lot of mileage out of it. I'm actually very much anticipating golf. Um I'm so yeah, well first of all I never left Nintendo Switch Sports because I still have a lot to do in that game. If I haven't been playing it, it's entirely because of my scheduling and everything else I'm playing and everything else I'm doing. It's difficult for me to find the time to play something like that. But like to say Switch Sports was never good is just wrong. I put plenty of time into it already.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
trust me, some people know what they're talking about, so they will
Who,
come
Cole?
back. And
Well, he must know what he's talking about. You know what? Actually, the only one who's going to do that is good old Cody on his couch.
Oh
You know,
yeah,
he literally
fucking
did a
hey
live.
man, I'm not on my couch, you son of a bitch. I've moved to my gamer chair. Okay, I've relocated so I can focus on my novels and stuff for the next several months. Like I am not on the couch.
Live stream where he was playing Nintendo Switch Sports, just plopped on his couch, not even getting up to play the game. And I'm like, what more fitting of a way to play the game, playing a lazy game lazily? To be fair, I did play Switch Sports sitting down where I had a Joy-Con in one hand and was eating Funyuns with the other, but we could laugh about this all day, but I do think it's hilarious. You know
I
what?
mean, yeah.
I'm actually kind of glad Nintendo Switch Sports happened because I've never seen such a funny game from Nintendo or such a meme until now. We've had stuff like Metroid Prime Federation Force, but that was mostly rage. But
Yeah.
first of all, let's just take a look at it. It's Wii Sports. How do you screw up Wii Sports?
I
I don't even
don't
know how you would do that, but what was your reaction when they revealed golf? Like when they announced Nintendo Switch Sports and then they showcased the sportsmates playing golf, and then what was your reaction? Because I know you were laughing about it, but just what was going
What's
on? What
funny about that? That doesn't make any sense. Like it's nothing new. Updates. Like
sunk
no.
in when you watched that?
I just laughed at the fact that they delayed it. I mean, something that was a pack-in feature with the original Wii Sports is something that has to be delayed till the winter time. And I mean, it's a recurring theme throughout the direct of just updating games that already exist. I mean, we'll talk about it in a little bit, but like
Well, it's
Mario,
good because I stay interested.
I mean, Mario Kart, Mario Strikers. What else did they add
Splatoon
updates?
3 for the
Splatoon
Splatfest.
3.
Your favorite
But
game?
yeah, I'm sorry guys, I couldn't give a rat's behinds about Splatoon. I'm glad you guys are.
Pleb, complete shit. Why is this guy on the show? Like, you need to kick him off. He doesn't know what he's talking about. How in the world can you not care about Splatoon? I'm actually going to be talking about this because I am getting really tired of these old fucks coming out and trying to say, "Oh, I don't care about Splatoon. It's a kids game. It's not all that spectacular. I'd rather play a real game like Call of Duty, Titanfall, Destiny, or Battlefield." Like I don't Splatoon isn't gonna sell that well. Like I don't understand this mindset where there seems to be this delusional group of people who don't understand that Splatoon is a juggernaut. Like top 5 most popular Nintendo games IPs ever. Like I think eventually it's gonna like outdo Animal Crossing because like you can put out more Splatoon games like much more quickly. Like there won't be like 7-year gaps between Splatoon releases like we have to wait for Animal Crossing ones. Like I I don't I think Splatoon is super popular. I think it's like an incredibly good IP. I don't understand how anyone who's a fan of like Mario or any form of third person shooters would not enjoy this. So when I see people like seriously try and say that like, oh, I don't care about Splatoon, guys, my first instinct is to laugh at you and like tell you you're not a gamer. Okay, this has gone beyond like not being a Nintendo fan at this point. We have people who are straight up not gamers. It's so frustrating seeing these people like try and make excuses as to why they don't enjoy all of these great Nintendo games. But like seeing that like they have to resort to like completely ridiculous statements like, "Oh, I just don't care about Splatoon." Bro, like if you don't care about Splatoon, it means you don't enjoy high quality single player campaigns. It means you don't enjoy a survival mode. It means you don't enjoy competitive online play. It means you don't appreciate one of the most innovative shooting franchises ever made. Like, if you don't care about Splatoon, why would I ever care about your opinion on Nintendo games? Because it's gotten to that point where, like, so many people are trying to downplay Splatoon that in order to try and pretend that Nintendo is having a bad 2022. Like, this game is gonna probably outdo Elden Ring. I think it already has. I'm already seeing people like try and like misinterpret Nintendo's sales reports. Like they announced they sold like 3.5 million units in Japan, and I've seen like people like Niche Gamer report that as like worldwide sales when in reality it's just that region, Japan. Like it's probably already out past Elden Ring, but we just like week one sales. It's just not something that like has been confirmed yet, you know, because and nobody's talking about it because nobody wants to admit that Splatoon is as big as it is, and this is becoming a really big sore point for me, considering how much I enjoy the game and how much other people enjoy the game. Seeing game journalists and YouTubers doing their absolute best to like downplay this game and try to say like it's just the same thing again is just it's just not true.
enjoying it though, but like, uh, what a waste of time. Why don't we talk about the few positives that we have about it though?
Yeah, sure. So the Mario Kart DLC, I think that it looks phenomenal. I noticed that there was a lot better attention to detail when it came to the visual presentation, which I kind of expected considering the quality of Wave 2. Merry
Mm,
Mountain looks incredible. It is just so cool seeing that track in an actual game. And I think they're doing something with anti-gravity. And the remake of Peach's Garden, it actually looks like a Mario
yeah,
Kart 8 track. Not quite as excellent as the base tracks, but very, very, very close. And when you're driving through it, you're not even going to notice. But good
yeah,
stuff with the Mario Kart DLC. And whoa,
yeah,
Demeech is actually talking positive about it. Well, I'll tell you what, how often do you get a Christmas themed track in a Mario Kart game? And I know it's in tour, but I can play it anytime now. I can play it
yeah.
during the Christmas season. I'm always looking for Christmas games. So,
Aren't like basically every winter stages in any game ever essentially Christmas themed? Like I'm thinking of like for ZZ Peak and some of the stages in Diddy Kong Racing in particular. It's not that uncommon. Like whatever.
that was
Yeah.
awesome. I just hope they include some of the cool costumes from tour. So, I was very excited about that, and I definitely am planning some Christmas specials this season. That is something I haven't done in a while. But
Oh,
I love
I don't
Halloween. I
disagree
love
with any of this,
Christmas
by the
games.
way.
Love
Mario Kart 8
Thanksgiving.
looks great.
So I definitely want to do more stuff with those holidays on the channel. But that was definitely a positive. That was actually one of the highlights. Of course, let's just get into the elephant in the room.
Oh, by the way, these are the same people who were bitching about the first wave. By the way, like Demeech was one of those people like trying to tell you that like, oh man, wave one, it's a big disappointment, and like I played it, it was perfectly fine. Like, um, I again, I wouldn't take these guys' praise of Mario Kart 8 like all that seriously.
Any of the farming simulators.
The issue is that like it's becoming like very difficult to like attack certain Nintendo games. So like Mario Kart 8 is a really good example because like if you keep complaining about Mario Kart 8 of all things, a game that sold like 50 million units, like you're going to get like destroyed online. Like people are just gonna call you out in your shit. Um, so I think that's the big reason why these guys are like backtracking so much is that they did get a little bit of backlash for how they handled the first wave.
And JRPGs. So good. No, I'm kidding. Pikmin. Pikmin
Yeah.
Bloom is incredible. I am
Uh,
so excited that they showcase more information about a game that already released. And, they're really giving Blizzard some competition. Do you guys not have phones? Yeah, we have phones. We're watching.
Nintendo actually announced Pikmin 4. To compare it to Diablo Immortal is like incredibly disingenuous. Like, is he serious? Like, bro, like Blizzard shit all over everyone for with Diablo Immortal, and they shit on everyone with Overwatch and Warcraft 3 Reforged, and Diablo 3, and Hearthstone. Like the list of things that Blizzard has done wrong are like is like incredibly long. to like claim one bad Nintendo presentation, like talking about Pikmin Bloom instead of talking about Pikmin 4, like I I didn't like Pikmin Bloom either, but like and they should have shown a trailer for Pikmin 4, but comparing it to Blizzard is just no, that's just not true.
Watching the direct on it. And if we could still dislike YouTube videos, we would dislike it from there. But no, they actually revealed Pikmin 4, which this time around is actually near completion. So that is good news. I wish they showed more gameplay of it. I don't understand why they only showcased a few, like, just footage, like stuff they released
Bitches,
for
the word is
promotional material, but
images,
it looks
you
cool.
complete
I like
dipshit.
how the setting's kind of like a backyard. I do find it a little bit odd that the only pilot showcase was Brittany, and not Olimar or Louis or Charlie and Alf. That
Well,
was a little bit weird. I was expecting a new one.
I'm kind of I'm kind of confused at the fact that the what is the story of the game, because it looks like we're in a backyard now.
Well, with Pikmin,
I'm
it takes place after civilization is long gone.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a very casual Pikmin fan. I like Pikmin 3. So, I mean, this looks cool, and it's a
He doesn't like Splatoon. He doesn't like Pikmin. What does he like? Well, why is he here?
cool announcement. I know people have been asking for it for a while. And it looks like
Doesn't
it'll be
like Switch
coming
Sports.
really soon. Um,
Well, 2023. But yeah, that's great news. I am a huge fan of the Pikmin series, so this was a major announcement for me. And going into Nintendo Directs, at this point, I've just kind of given up hope on Nintendo. They're just completely. Yeah, they've lost me pretty much. So I just go in with the announcement. If one announcement's cool, hey, that's nice. But I definitely understand why people are disappointed. I'm a little disappointed, but if this was before when I was really, really into Nintendo, like I would say, if this happened in 2019, I mean, it kind of did with that September Direct, which only revealed the Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition thing, then I would probably be.
Oh yeah. We have a history of not having good Nintendo Directs in September. All right, they seem to want like to announcing all their big releases early in the year, and then they just kind of like give you small sporadic updates throughout. That has been a trend for a while. I haven't seen anyone else point that out, but yeah, that is true.
hmm.
More disappointed, but they revealed
That
Pikmin
direct wasn't
4,
nearly as bad as this
and
one
I
though.
wish they showed more of it, but I trust Miyamoto's judgment. And as much as people think I'll say any Nintendo game will be ruined with free updates, it doesn't affect the single player games really. The only case for that would be Kirby Star Allies, which was kind of a gray area. But looking back, I don't think the game was unfinished. I just think it was a bad game. And I know some might disagree with me there, and I'm fine with that. But I just did not like the game. I didn't like the level design. But what I did like the
Yeah, I
level
don't care for
design
Star
in
Allies
is
either.
Kirby's Return to Dreamland. I wonder if we could ever get a remake of that. Oh, wait, we did. That was unexpected, but also very cool. What do you think
Yeah,
about it?
what an odd Kirby game to remake. I'm sorry. Like, I think it's fine. It's not my favorite Kirby game. I honestly think it's one of the blander titles. I do like the new cell shaded look for it. It looks like there's some new quality of life improvements with like the classic mini games. King Dedede looks like he has kind of a design overhaul. Um, yeah, it looks fine. I hope it's not $60.
Oh,
Well, you
come
know what? In
on.
this case, it's an action.
Enough with the complaints about $60. Bro, we live in an industry where they're trying to push 70 as the standard now. Like I don't see I legit have been seeing people complain about Splatoon's price and some of the prices of these Switch remakes. None of them bring up the fact that they are technically cheaper than PlayStation 5 games right now. Nobody's talking about that. Like, are you saying that like God of War Ragnarok is worth $70? Because I wouldn't pay like seven for that personally. Like God of War PC is on sale for $40 right now. I'm not getting that shit. Like I'm never buying that shit.
Actual remake. Though, as cool as the cell shaded outline style is, I do think that it'd be nice to have the option to turn that off just for options. Kind of like you remember in Smash for 3DS where the characters could have outlines,
Yeah, and you
but
could turn them off.
I think that so I just saw that there might be new content. Magalore Castle or the theme park is in the background of the box art. So this could actually be a deluxe remake, but it's a remake of a Kirby game that you said is a little bit bland, but that's kind of what I want to see from a remake. I want to see remakes of games that could be improved upon. and they're already introducing some new copy abilities and stuff like the mech.
Yeah, I'm curious what they're gonna add to this game. Like, Kirby games actually have a very good track record of remakes. Superstar Ultra is actually far better than the original. So I think this might actually be a good game to remake. I would have personally maybe some of the other DS games could have been remade first, but Return to Dreamland. I don't know. Like the more I hear people talk about it, the more I'm interested in picking it up.
From Robobot has an inspired copy ability, so that's neat. And
I
also,
guess I guess I'm just kind of sick of 2D Kirby at this point, especially after Forgotten Land. But yeah,
Are you sick of 2D Kirby? Like it's a remake of a game that already what? Like we haven't gotten one since Robobot. That was 6 years ago. Oh, I mean Star Allies. Yeah, yeah. Okay. So let's see. That was 2018. So yeah, about almost 5 years now. Shit. How are you sick?
that's cool.
I mean, in this case, it's a remake, and I'm definitely all for it. So, just going over some of the highlights, we got Mario Kart 8 Deluxe DLC Wave 3, looks fantastic. We got Pikmin 4, which was a big deal. That's a big deal for me, and that is probably the reason why I can laugh about a lot of this stuff in the direct. We got
Yeah.
the Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe, which that was
Mhm.
exciting. It was a surprise, but you know what? I'm all for it. Golf made me laugh my butt off, which was hilarious. I actually liked. I actually found that to be a good announcement simply because of the joy it had me with just laughing
Well,
completely out of my
on
mind.
on the hindsight, at least you have more time to do that second part of the review.
No, I have an idea for that fall video, but
Oh
man, the
man.
fact that they couldn't even finish it for the fall, how pathetic. That is just embarrassing.
Speaking of
They've been moving around game releases all year long. They technically delayed Splatoon 3. People kind of forgotten this. It was supposed to come out in July initially, but they kind of swapped it with Xenoblade Chronicles 3. So I and Splatoon 3 didn't seem like it really needed the extra time. It probably is just a scheduling thing. Like they probably just realized that like yeah, we're just gonna release it around the Christmas season. Like it might have something to do with like some other sports that they're developing, and maybe they'll just like announce those like next year. I don't know.
falling, we got some Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 news,
Like it might not be like literally true that they need more time on the game. That's kind of my point.
and we finally have a title. The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, and it's coming out May 2023. So I would say 6 years after Jesus Christ, Breath of the Wild came out.
Yeah, I found it a little bit odd that an asset reusing sequel took this long, but you know what? I trust Anuma's judgment. I'm all for it. Looks great, but I did
Yeah,
find it a bit odd that they ended off on something we already knew about. This seems like something they would just have towards the middle of the direct, where they updated it on, or like middle to end of the direct. A final announcement, I would assume, would go to a new game, but you know
I
what?
would have.
Cool, we
I
got
would have.
confirmation regardless.
Yeah, I would have started it honestly with Tears of the Kingdom, and I would have ended it with Pikmin 4. But to be fair, with Pikmin 4, we didn't even really get a proper trailer.
Yeah, it was just a teaser, but just confirmation after saying it was near completion for what, since 2015? You know, I'll take what I can get at this point, and
Hey, Pikmin came out soon after that. That's probably what he was talking about.
that's just kind of the state when it comes to Nintendo. But I had one question during this Nintendo Direct. Who is directing these Nintendo Directs? Because the pacing was awful. Like, I'm not going to beat around the
They're
bush.
always awful.
Yeah, the pacing. Who's doing this? Okay, so first off, they have partner showcases, which are supposed to or showcase third-party games. Hence the term partner showcase. And that last partner
Mhm.
showcase was oddly enough fantastic. Pikmin,
It
not
was.
Pikmin, Pac-Man,
Pac-Man.
Pac-Man, Pikmin. Why are my favorite series Pac-Man, Pikmin, Pokemon? Although Pokemon not so much anymore, but we're not going to get into that right now. But Pac-Man World Repack, Mario and Rabbit Sparks of Hope, it just that was a great direct, and they had a lot of great announcements. And
Even
you know what I
e-
noticed? Or go on.
what? I was just gonna say that even the Mario and Rabbids announcement today was kind of like bland. I mean, I know they just announced it, but it would have been cool to at least see a little bit of Rayman besides
Yeah,
that teaser.
I'd agree with you there, but I just intentionally don't look at footage of that game just because I like to go in blind. I will look at
Yeah.
trailers if I'm gonna make a video about a game because I need to know what I'm talking about. But at the same
Well,
time,
he clearly knows what he's talking about.
well, he must know what he's talking about, obviously. So, just the pacing is horrible. You start
Yeah.
off with Fire Emblem, and I know Fire Emblem it's made a comeback. Thankfully, the series did not end on the 3DS, but come on. I know
Yeah.
Three Houses sold well, but it's still relatively niche in the grand scheme of things. And,
You know,
It sold like 2 million units. It's huge for a JRPG. I think like if Engage didn't look completely fucking awful, I would say it's the series was probably on track to like outselling Persona. Like really. And I uh I don't know, Engage looks terrible to me at this stage. But it might not be enough to like kill the franchise. We'll see, but
it looks like a quality game, but
mhm.
when you just top that off with very similar looking games, I know they're different games, but when you have so many of the same games, could you imagine if they just had a Nintendo Direct with rhythm games? Like it was just first off,
all these RPGs look and play radically different. Saying Fire Emblem is the same thing as Atelier is just ridiculous. No, they're not the same thing.
we're gonna announce Taiko. Actually, I kind of like that simply because we need more rhythm games. Okay,
I
what is another oversaturated genre? 2D platformers. If it was just a direct with 2D platformer after
2D platformers are not that oversaturated. What is he talking about? That is a talking point from like 10 years ago. Like this guy is like full of shit.
2D platformer, when you oversaturate the same genre over and over and over and over and over again, then it's
mhm.
not exciting. It becomes boring.
I mean, here's my thing. I don't understand why Nintendo just doesn't do like. Well, they kind of do. That's that. So why don't they? I wish that they would do more like just first party showcases, just purely first party from their studio.
They do that. That's the thing though, is that when they did that back in the Wii U days, everyone created this narrative that like they're not doing enough to promote third party games, right? And now we kind of have like a hyper successful Switch where like they have to cover all these games in these Nintendo Directs, and now people are like saying it's too bloated and that they're covering too many games in popular genres, and it's just I don't know. It really does feel like people are just making up excuses to be angry.
Studios. They've done it a long time ago. But to be fair, the Wii U didn't really have a lot of third party things, and we have partner showcases for a reason. I mean, the the partner showcase from this summer was
When when they announced that partner showcase, there was a lot of bitching. People did not like that at all.
excellent, and we knew exactly what to expect. Third party games, that was great. I mean, I'm not going to be excited for a regular Nintendo Direct when it's just mainly third party games. When I'm kind of looking for, I'm sorry to say, but like if you say it's a regular Nintendo Direct, I expect some like cool announcements first party wise, and we did get that, but like it was few and far between compared to like the majority that we got.
And like I said, Pikmin 4 was an exciting announcement, but that's one game. Let's take a
Yeah,
look at what we got other than that. We got. Alright, let's see. We got Fire Emblem Engage. What's keeping you engaged? I'll tell you what, not 1,000 freaking JRPGs. Then we got Pikmin 4. Big announcement there, no denying that. But other than Pikmin 4, we just got confirmation of The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, which I'm gonna need to get used to that after calling it Breath of the Wild 2 for the longest time. And
yeah.
what else did we get? We got the remake of Kirby's Return to Dreamland, which is cool. But for me
Oh,
personally, it's only
yeah.
two announcements that stood out. And I mean it's disappointing. I can see why many are disappointed about it. But
I so
man,
I think we forgot to mention GoldenEye is finally coming to N64
Yes,
yeah,
Online,
here's
which
the thing with
game
the
of the year.
64 online stuff. I could care less. I don't even have the expansion pass.
I
Oh,
could
but I had a
What?
gift card.
Doesn't have the
I could
expansion.
too.
Is this guy joking? Like the expansion is great. We're getting like I love how the narrative like early on was that like oh man they're not gonna update N64. They don't have enough games. And what did we get? We get Wave Race. We get Star Fox 64. We get like Sin and Punishment. We get Yoshi's Story. We get Super Mario 64. We get Ocarina of Time. We get Majora's Mask. And now we're getting like Mario Party 1, 2, and 3. GoldenEye, one of the best games ever made. We're getting 1080 snowboarding, an old favorite of mine. Like a lot of exciting stuff they showcase, and like this guy is just gonna write it off. Oh, I don't even have the expansion. They're going to put more games on that, and more, and more, and more. And these motherfuckers are just gonna sit here and say, that's not what I wanted. Like, where are the good games? Like you're gonna see this when like the GameCube comes out. You're gonna see the people like bitching about GameCube. Like, oh man, why isn't the GameCube supported? You're gonna see those people flip and bitch about the roster, like the lineup of games initially. Like it's bizarre to see people like try and act like, oh man, this service is disappointing or that it's underwhelming when it really 100% is not.
But GoldenEye is kind of a big deal,
Yeah,
especially especially since it's a rare game and GoldenEye hasn't been re-released in years.
Yep, yep.
So
There is no way to obtain GoldenEye outside of a N64 cartridge. So this is a huge deal. Like one of the this was a game that like people used to like make fun of me for like over like the emulation debate. Like when is GoldenEye gonna get re-released? Well, here it is. When's Secret of Mana 3 gonna get re-released? Well, here it is. When's when's Live a Live gonna get re-released? Here it is. Like the list goes on and on and on.
the fact that game's coming to Switch Online, I think that's cool, and there's online multiplayer with that game too. Now, I also think it's kind of cool that the first three Mario parties are coming to Nintendo 64 Online,
oh,
and
I
we got
agree with you there. But
and
here,
Excite Bike 64 too, because that's kind of a rare one.
here's what I
Uh,
don't like
I've never
about
played
that
the
though.
original, so I'm
Why do
I'm
they
super
feel the
hyped about
need
it.
to just drop them in waves? Like, oh, we're getting.
that's
Oh,
yeah,
I can't wait to look forward to playing a
that,
game that's already announced and is already an actual game. Like, damn,
that's
just release them all at once.
that's my big issue with it. Like they don't give you a concrete release date. They just say sometime in 2022, sometime in 2023. Why?
Been releasing them once a month all year, and these guys are still bitching about the scheduling. Like I personally still haven't finished Wave Race, and I've been playing that game like since it launched. Um, yeah, complaining about this kind of stuff is just asinine. It really is. Like who cares?
Why? Because they're lazy. I'm sorry, but like that's what it is. Like
No, they
it
just
does
do that to have like the Twitter engagement or whatever it is. Like, oh my
does
gosh, they added GoldenEye, they added Excite Bike, they
it
added Sculptor's Cut. That'd actually be cool because that is
that
actually a very very rare game.
it doesn't take that long to emulate those games, you know? And also to all the
Oh yeah. Are you gonna acquire all the cartridges for those games and rip the data or however you do it, or are you gonna pirate them, which is illegal? like like I love how these people try to like use emulation as like a viable alternative to like Nintendo Switch Online when it isn't.
those people think that
Especially since like you would have to go through extra steps to incorporate online play and some of the aspects of NSO that just aren't emulatable.
that who thought that a Game Boy Advance was gonna be a Switch Online thing. Wah, wah, wah.
Well,
They'll come eventually. Like I don't understand these people. Like, oh man, they don't have Game Boy games yet. I'm sure they'll come eventually.
there goes pretty much every.
Like these guys like always like move goalposts. Like first it was like the lack of lineup for the Super Nintendo. Like and now that those games are like packed to the brim with great games, now it's like oh N64 like they don't have all these consoles yet. Well, they're still updating all these other consoles that they already have. So like what exactly you're not playing all these games. Like Demeech even like said he doesn't he doesn't have the expansion. So like someone like me who has put like 150 hours into N64 games on Switch alone, right? Since it came out. Like, I've been playing every single game on it. I put a ton of time into like F-Zero X, all this stuff. Like, I don't know, like Demesh hasn't experienced any of that. Like, and there's no way he's played every single game on there because like you can kind of tell that he's kind of a casual. But
Everything. I mean, it's just like I did some predictions, and I'm not surprised that they were wrong. But
I
let's
mean,
see. We only
I
got
mean,
one of them right. The golf
I mean,
update. got more information, and that's it. But I think that is actually a good way to end things off. Just
Yeah,
recap
I
your thoughts on it. I'll recap mine. But
I
overall,
mean, overall, I thought it was kind of crap. Aside from like a few announcements that were like bright spots, but Pikmin's not one of my favorite franchises. I'm gonna be honest. So,
and I
I
do
mean,
understand that it definitely is not one of Nintendo's huge series in terms of just numbers. I think it
no,
could be with the right marketing
it
and
could.
such, but at
No.
this point,
I
even
These guys really need to stop like saying that like, oh, they could make this niche thing like popular if they just marketed it. Like Scott the Woz does the same thing with Chibi Robo. No. No, no, no. Like some things are just niche, okay? They don't need to have mainstream success, but they no, like, I don't think everything should strive to be mainstream. That's kind of my view on that. I don't think Pikmin should try to be like a big seller because that would like really compromise what makes it like special and unique.
as I'm a huge Pikmin fan, I will admit it's not something that would be a heavy hitter like Mario or Donkey Kong or anything like
yeah,
that.
and, and I'm not saying they had to reveal anything to that magnitude, but man, it would be so cool to just see some more first party games from Nintendo. They've been so silent in the Switch era. Like they've just been letting all the third party games talk for them, and like good for them. It's like a good like turn from what the Wii U era was. But like
I feel like we have the reverse problem though.
I'm gonna be honest, guys.
They've shortened the period between announcing a game and releasing it. Like that's all that's happened is that like generally speaking they don't announce a game way ahead of time. To stop people like this from bitching about like having to wait 2 years for the next Mario game or whatever. You know what I mean? Like typically if they announce something, it'll be out in less than 12 months.
Yeah, but here's my issue. Um, I'm planning on getting an Xbox Series X, and it's nothing
Why?
against Nintendo or anything, but
What are
I
you doing? Like what? No, do not get an Xbox. Don't bother with that shit. Like these guys are gonna bitch about like Nintendo not having major first party releases, but then like talk about getting an Xbox. Are you serious?
got a Nintendo Switch to play first party Nintendo games, right? And if I could
This game really needs to die because I put a lot of time into playing other games from other developers. To say that you only play a Switch for Nintendo games is just wrong. Okay, I play games. I have a Nintendo Switch for games. Period. I don't want to play on other platforms ever.
play my third party games on a better console, hell, I could play.
Better? No, delusional. Outright delusional. Xbox One is not better than the Switch by any capacity.
It on my Steam Deck if I eventually get one.
He
I'm not
doesn't
trying
even have
to
one.
sound
My Steam Deck that I don't even have.
dismissive of the Switch, but like
Pretendo
guys,
dismisses and fails to claim the Switch is the worst console of the generation.
I legit called him out. I called you out before you even made the joke. You asshole.
but guys, this console still runs games at 30 frames, maybe even less, 720p. Like I know it's not about power some.
It's it's ridiculous how the only people who seem to care about frames are like people trying to shit on Nintendo hardware. I've never seen people go after like Doom 2016 for like its frame rate drops, which it does have because I've triggered them. I've never heard anyone talk about that. Like the way people talk about that game, it's like it's a rock solid 60 FPS on every console other than Nintendo Switch. But when I did it on Xbox One, right, playing on the highest difficulty, going through this section, like I had those frame rate drops, and it kind of dawned on me just how it seems like the people who talk about frames don't put a lot of time into playing the game. Like they play the first couple of levels like on the lower difficulty settings and don't really understand how, typically frame rates are impacted like later on when things are more hectic. Like in Super Castlevania 4 when you're fighting the Hydra, like there is a frame rate drop because there's so much stuff going on the screen, right? Like you have like all the animations of the sprite work and stuff like that. Like it's just something that happens in that game, and it's not really a deal breaker at all. I'm kind of sick of people like, are you going to say that Super Castlevania 4 was a bad game because it had a frame rate drop problem, like a frame rate drop in a specific boss fight? No, of course not. Like I'm sick of people pretending this is like some big some big deal that like makes the Switch like unplayable for them.
sometimes, but like some of these third-party games look like crap compared to other consoles, and like
Yeah, because they're not optimizing them correctly. Like that's the problem. You're blaming the hardware, but not the developers who are actually producing the game. This needs to stop. And like I'm sick of hearing about this because it just if a game gets a cloud release, it's the fucking developer's fault for not putting like an actual cartridge out there. Like Square Enix, are you really going to argue that like Kingdom Hearts 1 couldn't run on Switch? No, like of course not. Like if you say that, you're an idiot. But like they released a cloud version anyway.
I'll still play Nintendo games, but like at this point, the Switch for me is I really only use it for first party Nintendo games, and like the most recent third party game I got was Pac-Man World Repack on it, just because it's the most convenient console I have right now. But once I get an Xbox, I mean, most of the third party games I'll get will be on that system, unless like I have an urge to bring it on the go and I don't have a Steam Deck yet. But yeah, I mean, overall, I'm sorry, I got sidetracked there.
These
Uh,
people are like desperate to find reasons to like hate on Nintendo. I don't even have a Steam Deck, but when I get it, I'll prefer to play games on it for sure. Like you haven't experienced the hardware yet. You don't know what like the downsides are like or anything. And like you're already declaring it like better than the Switch. Why? It doesn't make any sense to me.
it was kind of a meh direct. I mean, I like that Return to Dreamland is coming back, but it was never one of my favorites. Pikmin 4 is cool. The Zelda stuff was cool, I guess. I honestly would love to see a new 2D Zelda, but I know that's
Well,
probably way.
Nintendo doesn't know how to make games.
Well, they clearly know what they're doing, but yeah, I still think that we're gonna
These people will seriously like call like cover Nintendo announcements, showcases, and then say Nintendo doesn't know how to make games. Like what have I been playing this past week? Like what did I play? Like what have I been playing? Like Splatoon 3. Like who made Splatoon 3 then? Like was it some intern? Was it some did they outsource it? Like who the fuck
get a 2D Mario and the new Donkey Kong game eventually. I think it's like what you said. It's a matter of when, not if.
But I just don't understand it. Why go so long without revealing anything, only to reveal
They
Pikmin
tend
4 and Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe and
they
the
tend
Fire
to
Emblem thing?
they tend to sit on games that are already finished just to like maximize on when would be the best time to release it. And like I get it, but
Yeah, but
I mean
considering it's a
there
current
are
gen
huge
console still, you gotta have a solid lineup to look forward to. And like you said,
we have a solid lineup. Like we have a lot of games coming out in the next couple of months. Like so many, I've actually been canceling a lot of pre-orders and like rethinking like the way I'm going about things because I would prefer to spend more time playing Splatoon 3. That really is how I'm feeling right now. Is I would rather just chill, write books, read manga, and play Splatoon 3. Like I'm not gonna buy anything else. Like I'm just gonna stick with Splatoon 3 for the foreseeable future. So I don't know. There's a reason they're not announcing a lot of things right now, is that they want to sell people on Splatoon 3, which is a big, major thing for them.
you know, with the Switch specifically, I have an Xbox Series X. I mainly play on Switch simply because I have more games on it, and I can play it on the go, which was actually very nice for Pac-Man World Repack because I beat that
yeah, I
game
will
on a vacation, so I was excited about that. But you know, if you don't like the third-party games and you're expecting those big first-party Nintendo games, then I don't know what to tell you because without the third-party games, I don't think my Switch would even be touched because it just the games are so
no
few and far between. We're literally in
the
one
la-
of the year or the fifth year of the Switch, and the only Christmas title we got is Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. And how many Pokemon games
to
do we
be
need a year?
well we get one each year, but like
Yeah, but three in the
to be
span of a
on
year? That's insane. And
well
not in a good way.
I think yeah, to be honest, I think we're in a transitioning era for the Switch. I think we're on the precipice of getting an upgraded Switch. To what extent, I have no idea. But the Wii U kind of slowed down like this after a while too. I mean, we knew that the Wii U was
Yeah,
dead
but
by
here was
that
the
time.
thing. The Wii U was pretty much. a lost cause by 2016. The Switch is the most popular console of this gaming generation.
Well,
Well,
you
Why
they
still
the
don't
have to
heck?
have to
release
make
new
they
hardware.
don't have
You still have to release new hardware though. That's
to make like a completely new console. They could just make it. They could call it like it could still be a Switch. Like
Yeah, maybe go the
remember,
Game Boy Color
DS,
route.
yeah, or like the DS route where it was DS, 3DS. They could do Switch and the Super Switch.
Yeah,
Whatever.
but you know what? I
But
think we'll just end things off by saying this. Nintendo Switch is the most popular game console of this generation, hands down. The fact that Nintendo has gotten so arrogant where they feel the need that they only need to reveal 2 to 3 games for the foreseeable future that are new is just insane. And the reason why it happened,
not once have they brought up the fact that like we're probably gonna get like another direct in February, like after all the games in the immediate future actually start coming out. Like that hasn't even come up yet. Like the next Nintendo Direct, like what they're going to announce for like 2020, 2022, because I don't think we don't know anything about what the second half of 2022 is gonna 2023 is gonna look like. Like Breath of the Wild is coming out in May, but Tears of the Kingdom is coming out in May, but after that, we have no idea. So they could like whip out all sorts of things. Yeah, they might release new hardware, but again, we are going to get new Nintendo Directs in the future. At the very least, we can expect a new Pikmin trailer, right? Like an actual full one. So
happens because you'll have countless shills defending whatever they do. There's a bunch of terms like ungrateful and entitled thrown around for those who are critical of what Nintendo is doing. We're critical because
Pretendo,
we love Nintendo games. We're
fucking
critical
Pretendo.
because we want to play more of their amazing games. And the fact that they're putting games out at a snail's pace is just incredibly disappointing. And I hope
Here's the thing I think a lot of these people don't understand, and I think I've been talking about this a lot. Normal people have jobs, okay? Normal people have lives. Normal people are like doing things outside of playing Nintendo games. Like it doesn't make sense to make a lot of releases at the same time because normal people are never going to get through them all. Like I myself am not getting through every game that comes out, every game I buy. And I've been cutting back because of it. Not because I dislike them or anything, but because like I'm just so busy in my personal life. Like YouTubers don't really appreciate this, is that they don't understand. Like it's my life doesn't revolve around Nintendo releases. I'm not like going to spend all my time playing Nintendo games probably ever again, to be completely honest with you. So like the fact that they just kind of don't look at it that way. I think that says a lot about where we're at, where these guys will just obsess over like things getting delayed and like an alleged lack of content rather than like actually acknowledge that like Nintendo this strategy they're making using it's clearly working. Like people do love their Switches, they do love the games they do play, and they don't Nintendo doesn't need to have like absolute banger announcements like every month or whatever these guys want.
yeah,
that Nintendo eventually recovers and goes back to their former glory. But in the meantime, it's disappointing, man.
Wow, their former glory. What a joker. Like I guarantee you this guy like 10 years ago was like shitting on the Wii U and the 3DS. Like these guys are never going to be happy. I think that's what it comes down to is what like my view on this culture the Pretendo thing is. It's not that like it's not about Nintendo, it's about them and how they're never going to be happy with anything the company does. They're always going to come up with some kind of excuse. They're always going to come up with some obscure IP to like complain about. They're always going to like make these weird claims and allegations. And like when all is said and done, they're not actually going to play the games. That's what I expect to see going forward. I think Demeech is just the one of the worst there is at this. I think what he believes is that like people dislike him purely because of his thumbnails and like his video titles, but like no, I think he does have like lots of really bad opinions, and I don't like his videos at all. And I just it's um it's not relatable. This is the problem with a lot of YouTubers as they grow in size and start becoming more popular is that like they very much lose touch with their audience. In this case, like we both cover Nintendo content, but because like I actually am a lot more reasonable about how I review games and like how I handle announcements. Like I came off as like significantly less angry about the Nintendo Direct than he did or other YouTubers. It just seems like these guys are unhinged and that they really need to do other things with their lives. Pick up a new hobby.